All right, Blake, we're moving on to the Ronald Reagan bracket. Take it all in right here. Is not Ronald Reagan was the 1 seed. Abraham Lincoln was the 2 seed here. Then you've got Kurt Russell as the 3 seed. Teddy Theodore Roosevelt as the 4 seed. Tom Cruise at a 5 seed.
Wow.
Bob Barker as a 6 seed. What's this f***er's name? What's his damn first? Magnus von or Ver Magnuson, the number 7 seed, and George Strait, an 8 seed in this bracket.
So this is an impressive list, Ronnie. Very impressive list. I'm curious to hear the rundown of accomplishments for each one to see what you single out. And this is going to be tough. I think this is going to be one of the more tougher brackets we've done so far, because looking at these names, with the exception of one, I could see any of these advancing and winning it all when it comes to this bracket.
Well, pulling up major accomplishments of Ronald Reagan, president 1980 to 1981, 1989. On the world stage, he escalated the arms race, increased. Well, this doesn't look like anything good. This is
so you're reading about Ronald Reagan?
Fucking Lib wrote that.
He was married. He was married to the
monkey,
the blood queen.
What?
You don't know that story?
No.
Well, it doesn't need to be me that tells you then.
What the hell is Ronald Reagan doing? All right, let's see.
I tell you what, type in Ronald Reagan's wife and read that, and then you'll probably have him advancing right away.
No, I'm not reading that shit.
He went out and found the throat goat and married her. He put her in the White House, Ronnie. God damn.
Oh, he survived getting shot. All right, let's go to George Strait, because
did that except for Kennedy.
All right, we're gonna go to nothing but it's one-sided on some of these facts about Ronald Reagan. He was a great president, according to who you talk to.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
George Strait, number 8 seed, highly accomplished country music icon. He won 15 CMA awards, including the 2024 Willie Nelson Lifetime Achievement Award. Who knew that Willie Nelson had a Lifetime Achievement Award? I wish we'd have known that earlier. Here we go. Academy of Country Music. He's got 8 awards. He's won a Grammy. He's a Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame member. 60 number 1 singles on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart, Blake. 12th best-selling artist in American history. Career record sales of 70 million albums in the United States.
Yeah.
He's third to only Elvis Presley and the Beatles with the most gold and platinum albums in history of music. He's known as the King of Country. I don't know if that's true.
It is.
But that's what so there you go. Ronald Reagan versus George Strait. I'll go first.
I'd like to point out that you left a credit off of George Strait, Ronnie. He was in, and we will review it, he was in a 1992 classic called Pure Country that I had to watch one time at my in-laws.
I think it was 94 or 95.
92.
Bet.
I'm looking at it right now.
You're not. You're lying.
He played Dusty Chandler, 1992 Pure Country.
He
has amnesia or some shit. And
no, he don't have amnesia. He just gets he walks away from all the money and the stress.
Yeah. And then he falls in love with a girl, and the girl finds out he's famous, and he puts a dent in that thing.
You talk me into it. I'm going with George Strait.
I'm going with George Strait. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be George Strait. I mean, Ronald, yeah, you had Nancy there, but I mean, it's not enough.
Okay, so that's our first number 1 seed being eliminated from the tournament, Blake. George Strait, in an upset, a bracket buster, takes down President Ronald Reagan in this Ronald Reagan region. So think about that. Now let's drop to the bottom where we have Abraham Lincoln versus Magnus Ver Magnuson. So let's bring up some Abe Lincoln stats.
I text this bracket out to a group, Ronnie. And do you want spoilers of what they're saying, or it doesn't matter?
Well, it matters. I just don't want to have it influence me in any way.
Okay. Okay.
So he preserved the Union of the United States. Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, where the slaves were free. 13th Amendment following the Civil War. He championed the passage of it, which basically abolished slavery throughout the United States. Reconstruction. Lincoln also envisioned a plan for reconstruction of the South. The Homestead Act. The Moral Land Grant Act, a national banking system. He supported the creation of that. Department of Agriculture, Secret Service. That really helped him out. So you got all of these accomplishments, and now we head into his opponent, Magnus Ver Magnuson. So Magnus Ver Magnuson, major accomplishments. Let's read this guy off.
I'm just going to be completely honest with you, Ronnie. This could make me look like a total dumbass, and I'm okay with that. I don't know who this is.
He's a legendary Icelandic strongman. He achieved, guess who put him in there? Achieved 4 World's Strongest Man titles, Blake, 91, 94, 95, and 96. He dominated the strongman sport for years, winning Iceland's Strongest Man 7 times and a West Coast Viking 9 times. Let's see. His strongman victories include 1989 Pure Strength Team Contest in Scotland, 91 and 93 International Power Challenge, 92 Scandinavian Strongman, 92 Nordic Strongman Contest winner, 94 Europe's Strongest Man, the 1995 World Cup Power Championship, World Cup Muscle Power Championship, excuse me. He is one of the strongest guys in the history of the world and one of the greatest strong men to ever compete in the sport. Magnus Ver Magnuson. Who are you taking? The number 2 seed, Abraham Lincoln, versus Magnus Ver Magnuson, Blake?
I got to go Abraham Lincoln, Ronnie, and it's just because I don't know much about Magnuson, and I mean, I know you just read off his accomplishments, and it is impressive. It really is. But Abraham Lincoln had the hat, man. I got to go with the big hat.
Well, I'm going to go Magnus. Whenever you can win this many strongman titles, it ain't no – and if that had shot his ass in the head, he would have lived. That's how strong he is. He's conditioned himself, his body, his brain. Just keep on keeping on, all right?
Abraham Lincoln, you know, you didn't read that he killed a lot of vampires before he got elected too.
And he was a wrestler. That may, you know. But anyway, here we go. Let me go ahead and pull it up. The wheel will decide who advances, and a chance right here for a number 1 and a number 2 seed to go down the drain really quickly in this bracket, Blake. It's starting to get crazy here. All right, so now let's blow it up and let's spin it.
This has got to be the biggest upset so far of the tournament, Ronnie. I seriously think if you ask 50 people, 50 say Abraham Lincoln. This has got to be the biggest upset so far of the tournament.
Magnus advances, the number 1 and the number 2 seed gone from this region, Blake. Let's move on. Number 3 seed, Kurt Russell. Okay. Do we really have to read off Kurt Russell's accomplishments? I'll do it anyway. So, Kurt Russell. He's an early Disney star. He began his career with Disney, appearing like in films like The One and Only, Genuine, Originally Family Band, or whatever. The computer wore tennis shoes, Blake. He played Elvis. He was an action hero. Escape from New York, Big Trouble in Little China. Other notable roles. He was in Backdraft, Executive Decision, The Hateful Eight. He was in The Fate of the Furious, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Christmas Chronicles. He was in The Thing, Escape from New York, Escape from L.A., Walt Disney Legend, Film Legend, Backdraft. He is an amazing actor. He is the voice of Copper in the Fox and the Hound Disney movie. Russell, gorgeous, hair, everything that you want in a human being. I probably just
Goldie Hawn.
He's married to Goldie Hawn. He's got Wyatt Russell as a son. Don't hold that against him. Kate Hudson, Oliver Hudson, that whole crew. He's just an amazing guy. Your thoughts on Russell? Best of times. Absolutely.
I think everyone knows how we feel about Kurt Russell. one of the best actors of all time. The range that this guy has, he can do comedy, he can do action, he can do horror, he can do suspense, he can do it all. Ronnie, pull up that clip of him drowning in Poseidon, one of the best drowning scenes of all time.
Never seen it.
It's great. It's great. Watch it for Kurt Russell alone. This is a tough one for me.
Right,
Which I know you got to read Bob Barker, but go ahead.
Bob Barker's major accomplishment, Price is Right, for 35 years. He was an animal rights activist. He won 19 Daytime Emmy Awards, including a Lifetime Achievement Award. 14 Emmy Awards, Blake, for his hosting work, and he received a Lifetime Achievement Award. Multiple different numbers here. All right, so that's Bob Barker. He was in Happy Gilmore, Price is Right, bitch, all that stuff. Kurt Russell, Bob Barker, who you taking?
Well, first I want to bring up the fact that, yeah, he was the host of Price is Right for 50 years, but Ronnie, he's also the reason all these dogs and cats are spayed and neutered. What'd that text say?
You would text me and Nick Push. I was just checking to see what's going on. Yeah, he's trying to keep these cats from and these dogs from and spreading
Listen,
that.
He nailed a lot of Price is Right. What do you call those little girls? Who is?
Barker's Beauties.
Yeah, Barker's. He had a ton of them from the 60s all the way to the 2000s. And then he proved how first off, we already knew he was hilarious. We already knew that just from watching the show. He proved how hilarious he was in 1996 in Happy Gilmore. And it's a shame that he couldn't live 4 years longer to be, 140, so he could be in Happy Gilmore 2 that's coming out this summer.
It's true.
But this is really tough, Ronnie, because let's just be honest here. Was there anything better than missing school and at 9:30 or 10 a.m. watching The Price is Right? Was there anything better?
It was great.
It was the best. And arguably, we could do a March Madness bracket about game shows. Let's be honest. And Price is Right would be a 1 seed. I think we should do it. I think the rest of the year should be nothing but March Madness brackets. But this is really tough for me. It really is. Bob Barker, legendary white guy. Kurt Russell, legendary white guy. But only one can move to the next round. Because of the range, I got to go Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Because Kurt Russell sang that Christmas song in Christmas Chronicles.
There you go.
I'm moving him just because of that. It's Christmas time, pretty baby. I got to go with it. I got to go with him.
Yeah, without a doubt. You knew I was going to go Kurt Russell in this one, especially over Bob Barker. Barker.
It was tough. I know how we both feel about Kurt. This was a tough one for me. I think if Bob Barker is matched up against any of these other guys, I think he may advance. He just got a bad draw.
So Kurt Russell advances to the next round. And now the last matchup of the first round from the Ronald Reagan region, Teddy Roosevelt versus Tom Cruise. First off, let's go to the list. Roosevelt avoided labor strikes, most notably negotiating a settlement of the Great Coal Strike of 1900. Let's forget about this. Here's the best Teddy Roosevelt story you're going to get. He got shot in the chest and he finished giving a speech before he went to the hospital. That's what Teddy Roosevelt did. And it wasn't no nick of the ear or the head. He got shot in the chest and said, you know what? Let me finish this shit before I go to deal with this. Okay. Teddy Roosevelt, killing animals, killing more animals that we call everything like that, just getting killed. He tried to wipe them out. He tried to do God's work and they wouldn't let him. So Teddy Roosevelt, great human. Now let's go to Tom Cruise. First off, Tom Cruise, is one major thing against him is he's managed to prop up this L. Ron Hubbard Scientology. Weirdo. But in true white boy fashion, he's managed to bring it back because now some of these conspiracy theorists are like, you know what? When he was jumping up in them chairs on Oprah and talking about, kidnapping women and shit, he was right about us not taking these medications and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could go either way. Maybe he's come back. He's still a weirdo, though. Let's see what he's accomplished in his life, okay?
Nicole Kidman?
He got Nicole Kidman. Katie Holmes, 3 Golden Globe Awards, 4 Academy Award nominations, a BAFTA Award, 3 Screen Guild Actors Awards. That's pretty much it. He's got a Top Gun franchise. He's got the race car movie, Days of Thunder. He's got the movie where he played the vampire, not Vampire in Brooklyn, whatever the name of it was. Interview with the Vampire.
He's made got 25 Mission Impossible
movies. So he takes these incredible risks with these stupid stunts. He's internationally, world, Martian, intergalactically known, Tom Cruise. His teeth were all f***ed up in The Outsiders. I see that picture all the time, but he got them fixed. So that's a plus. So, Blake, is it me or you first right here for Teddy Roosevelt or Tom Cruise?
I'll go first. I think this is an interesting matchup because both these guys are into some stunts there, Ronnie. You got Tom Cruise, who's, jumping out of airplanes and hanging onto airplanes as they take off. You got Teddy Roosevelt wrestling a bear.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
really big.
At the end of the day, Tom Cruise is 5'4". I got to go Teddy Roosevelt as being the ultimate white male.
I'm going Teddy as well.
Wow.
Teddy Roosevelt advances to the next round, Blake. There we go. So now, second round matchups for the Ronald Reagan bracket. We have George Strait versus Kurt Russell. And in the bottom half of the bracket, you've got Teddy Roosevelt versus Magnus ver Magnuson, Blake. So who are you going with Kurt Russell versus George Strait?
Okay, what I like about this matchup is both guys dipped into each other's occupation. Kurt Russell has done some singing. He's not as good as George Strait. George Strait has done some acting. He's not as good as Kurt Russell. So really, do you prefer George Strait's music over Kurt Russell's movies? Somebody from the South, that's a tough matchup because we love country music down here, and George Strait is the GOAT when it comes to country music.
That is true.
I got to go Kurt Russell. As far as enjoyment, I think I get more enjoyment out of Kurt Russell's movies than I have to be in a certain mood to listen to George Strait. Okay?
You're right. That I was listening to put it on the wheel. But that last line got me. I can be in any mood to watch Kurt Russell's movies.
It's because of the range. Like if, whether it's Christmas, horror, comedy, it's all there. With George Strait, you got to be in a certain mood to listen to that music. And I think because of that, for me, Kurt Russell moves on to the finals.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that just because I was going to get ready to put down George Strait. I love his songs, but I don't love every one of his songs.
That's true.
I love Kurt Russell's movies, but I don't love every one of his movies. But I do have to be in a certain mood to throw on some George Strait. I can be in any kind of mood to listen to Kurt Russell. So I agree with you. Kurt Russell advances to the finals of this round, and that leaves us with Magnus ver Magnuson versus Teddy Roosevelt, which you spoke earlier about matchups. This might be the only time Teddy Roosevelt and Magnus ver Magnuson have ever been matched up in a bracket.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet you're right, Ronnie. I don't think you're going out on a limb there. The question is the legend of Teddy Roosevelt. And I would love if you would call the Magnuson expert and get his thoughts on this. Are we not 100% sure that Teddy Roosevelt couldn't lift more than Magnuson?
Let's find out.
Because he is a very impressive individual all around.
Can you hear it?
Could Magnuson wrestle a bear?
No way he's awake.
No. It's like that sometimes.
The person you're trying to reach is not available.
Is there anybody else that we could call that may know about strength?
It's up to you. You mentioned it earlier. I do have him on standby when you're ready.
Yeah, let's call him and see what he thinks. I don't know if it's going to sway me or not, but call him and see. Trying to think who else I know that is really.
I'm going to let you do the talking on this one, okay?
He can't hear me, Blake.
He can't?
No. Tell him we're live to tape.
Nick, this is Blake with ATG and AT. How are you?
Doing well. How are you, Blake?
Pretty good. Are you on an airplane?
I'm in my car.
Oh, okay.
He's got his fucking head out the window.
I just had a quick question for you. We're doing the white boy March Madness bracket, and we've come to a matchup, and we're struggling. And I'm just gonna run it by you. We got Teddy Roosevelt against Magnuson, and if you don't know, Magnuson is a legend.
For Magnuson.
Magnus von Magnuson, I think is what Ronnie's saying, but he's a legendary power lifter. Won it, what, Ronnie, 3 or 4 years in a row?
5-time strongest man in the world.
5-time strongest man in the world. He is paired up against Teddy Roosevelt. We need a tiebreaker vote.
Teddy Roosevelt always wins.
Nick Push says Teddy Roosevelt. He wrestled a bear. He got shot in the chest, Ronnie. He's going with Teddy Roosevelt.
All right. Good for him. All right.
All right, Nick, be careful. Love you.
So I'm going Magnus. I'm going to leave this up to you because, you know, it's good that Nick gave his opinion, but it really don't matter. Magnus von, okay, this is the way I'm looking at it. And this is just what came through. Magnus von or Ver Magnuson has won all of these awards in a country where it's tough to become famous.
Okay.
And he's made a name for himself out of hard work and just grinding. Meanwhile, Teddy Roosevelt, we don't know if half this stuff is true because let's face it, when it comes down to it, he's just a politician and everybody knows politicians are liars. So all of that could be PR and not true. But we know for a fact Magnuson lifted that weight because that's on TV, that's on record. We don't know if this dude really fought a bear or if he really got shot in the chest or if somebody just made it up. So one I know happened. The other could be pure political propaganda.
You know, Ronnie, you've mentioned a couple of times so far that I convinced you with what I said at the end. And I was ready to argue Teddy Roosevelt over Magnuson to the very end. But what you just said convinced me. You cannot fake lifting weights. Dino Bravo didn't bench press 750 pounds live on TV when he was supposed to because he couldn't pick it up. Magnuson lifted that weight every time he was supposed to, and he did it for a fact. He's a champion. I'm going Magnuson over Teddy Roosevelt, and I've never seen this guy.
So we got Magnus Magnuson versus Kurt Russell in the finals of the Ronald Reagan bracket. I'll lead it off.
I'm picturing, when you say Magnus von Magnuson, I'm picturing a character from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Hey, you're almost right. I'll lead us off. Magnus for Magnuson. It comes down to it. What do you value more? Entertainment? Somebody that's working hard to give you entertainment, or somebody that's working hard to give you entertainment and motivation to be a better human?
Yes.
I love Kurt Russell. I got to go Magnus because it's just super impressive what he does. I got to go Magnus. Magnus von Magnuson, whatever his damn name is.
Well, I mean, what's really impressive, his resume speaks for itself, but the fact that he's a 7 seed and he's made it to the finals in this bracket, I mean, you can add that to his legacy, Ronnie. But I'm sorry, we're going to have to go to the wheel on this one because I got to go Kurt Russell. You know, he's in one of my favorite Christmas movies. He's in one of my favorite horror movies, and he's in one of my favorite action movies. And I think that speaks for itself. I got to go Kurt Russell over Magnus von Magnuson.
Okay, here we go. So let's back it up. We'll go ahead and we'll pull it up. I was playing games. I can't answer the phone right now.
Is that what he said?
No, but you know that's going to be what it was. I was playing a fucking game. All right, here we go. Spin the wheel.
The wheel has not been kind to me. Da 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 da. It's going to be Magnus over Kurt Russell. A 7 seed wins the bracket, and Tim is not here to see it. What an upset. And that's what that's what March Madness is all about. All right. Cinderella story, tears in his eyes, I guess.
Da 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 da
Da da da da da da da da.